Alright guys, hope y'all all doing well. Today is actually the day of my high school graduation. It's about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock actually. Just got a box of parts in, just gonna be servicing the 250. And also got the 110 in parts over here, because it's leaking oil from the counter shaft seal, which I ordered a new one of those too. That's gonna be for another day. And also I'm gonna go through this whole thing, also order some parts for it to get it right, and I'm gonna clean this whole thing down basically like how I did the 85 last year. Get it up real nice and clean, just to have it all cleaned up, because I don't think this thing's been taken apart since 2003. So yeah, today all I gotta do for this is change the oil filter, trans oil. I gotta put a new petcock on the fuel tank because the reserve does not work. I have to change the spark plug and air filter, and I think that's pretty much it. So shouldn't really take me too long. Whenever I change the oil on here, I want to take the skid plate off, so whenever I take the oil filter off, the residue or the leftover oil doesn't drip down under the thing. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to allow it to stand without using the stand. So I'll figure it out, but yep, that's today's plan. Alright, so first things first, put the shrouds and the fuel tank back on, because I had actually broken the bolt off right here, so I have to re-tap it. And I actually just blew off the whole bike because I had a whole bunch of metal shavings everywhere. So well, actually no, that's not right. First thing I gotta do is I gotta change the spark plug out on this thing. So should be the right thing. So you spark plug wire out. Let's see what size this sucker is. Alright, so your spark plug on this one is a 16 mil. You're gonna need a really a deep socket and an extension for this. I'm gonna actually just put 2 extensions on here since it's so deep in there. Grab yourself a magnet so you can dip down in there and get it out. A little slender magnet like this will do just fine. Pull it out. So you can see that it's not terribly dark, but compared to the new one, you know, I figured out just want to get a fresh one in there. Get it nice and snug, but you definitely don't want to over-tighten it. And you'll be able to feel it whenever it gets right, gets to the perfect size. And then just lock that, this spark plug back on. Like that. Perfect. Alright, so now I can put the gas tank back on. Whenever I did that, the petcock turned on, got some gas all over the place. Hold up. Alright, so I'm gonna tighten this down, get it right. And this is all gonna be 8 mils. Hopefully this lines up this time after I re-tap it. It should be pretty darn close. I'll say that's good enough, bro. That's good enough. So tighten this down. So this is a re-tap tool. I'm not trying to tighten down on it. That's plenty tight. Tap that on. Which, you know, man, this Tusk gas cap looks great, but it really, and since it's billet aluminum, it really tears up this plastic threading on here. It's a great cap and it looks great, but I would honestly recommend a plastic cap, just simply for the fact that it tears up the threads, and you really have to be careful whenever you're threading it on. A long time ago, must have wrecked it and got bent or whatever, but whenever I broke it and busted a hole and it was leaking coolant, I had to get a new one. So this side of the shroud was always really bent. But now that I got a new one, it's kind of straightened out over time, which is interesting. Now that we got that done, I can do the pet cup. We got the pet cup right here, so I'm open this up real quick. So this is the old one, and you know I could probably rebuild this. I don't feel like it. I want to buy a new one. And it was only like 30 bucks, but look, so it works on. I'm not gonna turn it on because it's gonna get gas everywhere. Actually, I'm gonna just hook it up real quick. Put it on. Works. Put it on reserve, and then it drips like that. So I'm gonna just have to get a new one. So yep. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm pretty dumb. I still got gas in here, and whenever I take this off, it's just gonna come out. Oh well, I'll just put a towel here and just be quick. I'll get to witness this tomfoolery, this couillon activity right here. Alright, let's see what I'm gonna have to do here. Oh, no, I ain't gotta do that. You know what I mean? Get some vice grips, man. I ain't gotta do none of that. I'll just put some vice grips on here. And I ain't gotta worry about nothing. Oh, shit. Took off the wrong side first, man. Fuck. This is not good, not good, not good, not good. Yeah. Holy shit, that's a lot of gas. Alright, let's see. And look at that, man. Reserve works. Sweet. Sweet. Alright. Now, I'll be replacing this nasty air filter, which this, I have just a battery tender if I want to hook it up. This should be a lot easier than that doggone petcock, which was completely my fault and did it the wrong way. But you know what? I did it to myself. So. Now, this is this right here. It's just air filter isn't terrible. I bought a new one anyways. I think I might save this one. This thing is less than a year old and it's still good. So I think I'm gonna save it. I mean, it just needs to be cleaned. I mean, look at the inside. It's pretty much brand new. So, but I just need to clean it. But I got a new one, so I may as well just oil up the new one. No, I had to go with the twin air since I got the freaking decal, the graphic on it. Couldn't go back to maximum once when I got the twin air decal. So, got me some what's it called, K&N spray, oil filter oil, air filter oil. I mean, let's see. Probably ain't got too much left of this sucker. I've been using it so much. Put this one. That looks all kind of clean. Get some at the top. Put some brake cleaner on. Clean that out real quick. Nice and good. Alright. Now that I got that pretty clean, pick my brake clean back up. Get some of this. Really, you want to really soak it in. Really soak it in there. Alright, just working it a little bit. Which this is some nasty ass oil here, so about freaking 10 minutes later. Finally got it. I was way too difficult. It took me, well, it's not difficult, it just took me way too long to line that hole up, man. It took me literally. Alright, so just put my seat back on. Got my clutch plate soaking in the correct oil for this. And now I'm going to be taking this skid plate off. Oh my goodness. Alright, now we're ready to drop the oil, so I'll just loosen this up. And hope that the oil goes in. This oil isn't that old. It's probably about a year old, less than 20 rides on this oil. So now I'm just gonna let that drain out completely. Alright. So it is now the next day. I've graduated. The oil has been draining out since yesterday around this time. And I just sloshed the bike around, making sure I get the remainder of all the oil out. Once when I get most of the oil out, I'm gonna just plop this oil filter in. Alright, so now that the engine oil is done, do the trans oil. And that looks just about as gross as I'd expect it to. Alright, so while I've got the transmission oil draining, I'm going to go ahead and change this oil filter. Point. There we go. And this one's pretty nasty. There's no little shinies in between each little groove, so that's good. Out with the old and with the new Honda OEM parts. And you got this little spring in here, which goes like that. And just line it back up in there. And ta-da. Spring fell out. And there we go. Just as simple as that for the oil filter. And the transmission oil is still draining, so guess I'll be waiting for that until that's done. Alright, now that the transmission oil is done, I'm about to put this plug back in here, this drain plug. I've been sitting here for like freaking 45 minutes waiting for this to finish draining. It's the most painful thing ever. Alright, perfect. So I'm going to downshift this thing back into neutral. And I can go around to the other side. Check valve back in, which that's where we refill it from. So I'm gonna just put that like that for temporary purposes. So now that all of that's out, I'm gonna put the bike on its side, and we're going to change the clutch out, the clutch pads and the clutch pads. We change the clutch pads and clutch springs out. So stay tuned for that. See how graceful we can get with this. So initially, I don't really care. Hey. Alright, so now that I've got the bike on its side, I'm going to have to be taking the brake off and then clutch cover off. Just put, this is where I'm going to be putting the old stuff right here. clutch performance ones right here. Check them out on RockyMountainATV.com. I'll put a link to them down in the description below. I get all my parts from all these videos and everything from them on that website. So they're great, they treat me well, always been good to me. That was easy. So here's all the old plates and stuff right here. A little dark, not too old though, but I'm just upgrading them for some performance ones. Side of the basket is good, no indentation or anything, nothing too bad at least. Probably the next time I change the clutch, I'm also have to change the basket too. Not too bad on the inside of the basket either. So I've been having the clutch pad sitting in the oil that I'm going to be putting in here. Well, not the exact oil, but the same type of oil. Just to make sure that it, is nice and soaked, because I'm supposed to do that with clutches. Get me a magnet. So for whatever reason, they don't give you these two little rings here for a thinner outside one, because look at the two different widths and the thickness right here, the two different ones. This is the first one that goes down in the OEM one, versus all the other ones on the Clip Performance one are like this. So I guess we're just gonna have to run it, like take these two little rings out and just see how it goes. It should work fine. I don't see why it wouldn't. But I was wondering why it's like I don't have enough space for all of these. So time to reassemble it and put it all back together. There we go. That seems a lot better. Also, the only real main difference that I see in the stock pads versus the clutch pads is that the contact patches on the performance one is a lot thicker than the ones on the OEM one. So just offered more surface area and more grab whenever you need it. And you can see that this one's a little more brown, a little more burnt than the brand new one is. And just by the feel of the differences, and the clutch performance one versus the OEM one is that the clutch performance ones are much stiffer than the OEM ones. And that also could be because the OEM ones were 20 years old and these brand new, so that could have something to do with it. torque rating on these is 12 newton meters. That's why I have this little torque wrench right here. So I'm gonna just get them close enough with the impact, and then I'm gonna really get a good job with the torque wrench right here. Whenever you tighten all this down, you want to do it in a star formation. Just kind of going across like that. They still got to be a good bit tighter. Torque. My steel surface is clean. I forgot to order a new gasket, but since this one is perfectly fine, I figured it wouldn't hurt anything. Also, just another tip: whenever you're using an impact, always start it off first with your hand, so you don't start off cross-threading it with this, and then you're really dealing with something that could have been easily prevented. Alright, and now put the brake lever back in. Go get some grease and re-grease this little piece right here. I'm re-greasing this little shaft right here, which is with the brake rods on. Just tight enough to where it'll still return. First, I'm going to pick up all my tools, and then I'm going to get back to changing the oil. Alright, so I figured while I have the skid plate off, or while I have it on its side, I may as well put the skid plate back on. But whenever I took it off, I realized I put this thin padding just to go along the line of the frame so it wouldn't be a direct metal to metal clash. And I realized that it was pretty worn down into nothing. So I have these two rolls here. I have this one, and I have the rest of this one. And this one is a lot softer than the other one. So I'll just be putting these on and then putting the skid plate back on. Should make everything a lot quieter. Probably. So when the skid plate's holding up against it, it'll be fine. Flip the bike up. Bam. Now I can change oil, or put new oil in it. Alright. Took me forever to get the transmission oil filled up, but it's all filled up now. Check the engine oil one more time, and make sure that's good, and then I can fire it up. And the engine oil's good. Not in neutral. Should be now. Whenever it gets to about 120, that's when I call it warm, pretty much. That's about whenever the radiator